available to the public, you can decode their operations like that, and it's called the beginning of the end. Game over. The only way to win the game is not to play. When a white cop gets killed, we lose. When a black person on the street gets killed for no reason, we all lose. It's the same thing. It's ridiculous in this economy, the way the world works, to believe that somehow fighting with each other is a way to go forward. We should have a free society organized around the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, and free will. It's happened again. A cop was shot today in outside St. Louis. And now authorities, highway gunmen motivated by police shootings, shot a police officer, another police officer in Tennessee. And it's just intensifying. So I've never seen so many communist flags in my whole life up until the last 2 years. I've seen more on the streets. I'll be in like Baton Rouge. I'll be in New York. I'll be in L.A. I'll be in... and I'll just see communists marching around. I'll be in Austin. I've seen communists march 5 times in Austin and wasn't even looking for them. And, of course, it's all Black Lives Matter. So it's kicking off, and I don't know how big this is going to get, but I tell you, I'm not turning my guns in because a bunch of communists run around shooting cops, okay? Will, what else do you think is going to happen? Then we'll get David Knight's take on this.
Well, Alex, I think it's going to get big. I think it's going to get a lot worse because what is really going on with the BLM movement, the police, and everything else is a psyop against the uneducated and fear-mongering. So you get the uneducated to fear the police, and then you get the police to fear for their lives. So then you create this rift between the two. So now the people who have orchestrated it have nothing to do with it except sit back and reap the benefits of what
and watch the crime rates triple in more than 10 cities as blacks get killed en masse by drug dealers.
Exactly. So what my theory is, Obama has talked a lot about a third term. Not necessarily.
I was always hearing this from insiders. He was going to cause civil unrest. Like 5 years ago, I heard at the end of his second term he'd do this. And boy, it's looking like it. Sorry.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I think he's doing because I believe he's creating so much of a rift, so much chaos, that by November, we're going to be in so much turmoil, elections are going to be suspended. And then it's just free game. So the big thing that worries me is, I'm a veteran. I run a veteran page. I actually posted a video yesterday afternoon talking about exactly what I'm telling you now. And then last night happened.
I want to play it. What's the name of your YouTube channel? What's the name of the video, brother?
Well, it's not on YouTube, but it's on my my Facebook page. That would be facebook.com/FU, the letter U, I'm covered. One word.
All right, do me a favor. Send us the link and the friend invite or whatever it is to showtips@infowars.com because I want to play that video. We're looking for folks that predict things before they happen. We're looking for people that are accurate. We're looking for people that know what's going on, not just to actually work here, but to be auxiliary reporters. Because we're all in. I mean, I was working last night at 9 o'clock at night. I worked until 9 o'clock last night. The problem is I don't stay up past 9 now. I worked all day until 9, and then I just collapsed. And they were all calling me, trying to get me up at like 11 when this started. And I'm not complaining. I've never been more alive. I just worked from like 6 to 9, and I just collapsed. But very, very interesting. Will, send us that info. Tell us your Facebook account again. Is your Facebook open to the public, or is it by an invite only?
It's a Facebook page. It's not my personal one. It's a veteran-run Facebook page.
Sure. So we're going to look it up right now and put it on TV and radio for listeners, but TV for viewers. It's FU, I'm covered?
Yeah, the letter F, the letter U, I'm covered.
Let's pull that up on Facebook right now. I want to see that. Thank you so much, David Knight. Will, make some really good points.
Yeah, Alex, he was talking about Agenda 21, and one of the articles that's come out about the platform fight that's coming up at the Democrat convention. You got someone who was Obama's former deputy assistant for climate change saying that what Bernie Sanders wants to do is a burn it down march to the ideological sea on climate change. What they don't want to have happen is a visible push, something happening too quickly. Hillary learned this when she tried to take over health care as First Lady. It didn't work. She pushed too far, too fast. She didn't want to see this happen again. Instead, they want to boil the frogs in the pot
Creeping
approach.
death.
Yeah, they want to do it very slowly. And you know, Alex, when Biggs and Zimmerman and Alley were down at the border, they charged them with criminal trespass. What that's about is the federal government coming in and taking over the properties. We've seen Obama do as Rob Jacobson.
On both sides of the Red River, just people own homes for 100 years. They say it's ours now.
They just do it with a stroke of pen, and he's doing it under the misapplication of this monument law, but he's taking millions of acres. And remember, Yellowstone is very special. It's about 2 million acres, but he's got 3-4 million acre projects all over the country, from Maine to Florida, on the East Coast, out on the West Coast. When they take that property, Alex, that's when they come after you for criminal trespass. That's what the Bundys were saying in Nevada. They said, look, people have been able to free to come and go and enjoy this land as the public has it. Now they're going to keep you to a little narrow path here, and if you get off that path, they're going to arrest you. That's what we saw with our reporters yesterday. That's what Agenda 21 is going to look like, and that's why the lockdown on transportation is also a part of that.
David, I want to come back and go to Jim in Indiana and Charles and others that are patiently holding. Before I do that, though, I'm not going to air this whole thing, but Putin back on, got the article here out of RT, back on the 17th of June, 3 weeks ago, roughly, he came out and said, look, you got weapons on our border, you're gearing up, your press won't report this, your government lies to us about everything, we're in danger of World War III. And then we reported it, but it got almost no cover. No coverage. And to me, that's what's so scary, is that regardless of what you think about Vladimir Putin, the world is just galloping towards war, and our government is run by criminals that put ISIS and Al-Qaeda in charge to attack Russian interest, really making us the bad guy, cut and dry for the first time in history. And so I want to play a few minutes of this report. The full report's up on Infowars.com. It's on YouTube. It should go viral. It's only got like 150,000 views since last night, which people think that sounds viral. No. Putin warning the world of World War III, that needs 50 million views, okay? And again, this is almost a month old. We just mentioned it yesterday because it didn't get any attention. This is why we're in so much trouble, because just incredible things are happening. So we're going to play a few minutes of this, mainly with Putin's quotes with an English translation. Then we're going to come back and go back to the calls and get David's take on that. But this is why we say get ready. This is why we say, yeah, InfoWars is exploding, because we've been shown to know what we're talking about, but it's too little too late unless we really explode. And my goal isn't to make a bunch of money and live in a bigger house. My God, I can't take care of the house I got. It's to try to save the country. I'm all in, folks. And to try to have a future and not have nuclear war and not have civil war. I mean, I really am surprised more people aren't just totally involved to try to stop this. I just, where is the survival instinct? I know it's there, but my God, this is crazy. So please support the broadcast. We have 20 to 40% off on all the sortable foods. That ends on Monday. And I added it to optics and shortwave radios and solar power systems and nutraceuticals. X2 is about to sell out, 20% off. You can get 10% off on top of even 40% specials with auto ship, and we got free shipping on orders of $50 or more. There's so many specials, I can't go over them all. Some of the biggest specials in our history, InfoWarsStore.com. Hillary for Prison shirts, 100% of that's going to fund the airplanes over the DNC and RNC saying Hillary for Prison. We're going crazy right now. We're taking action. History is happening. Fully commit. My spirit is just all in now. I just know this is the time to go all guns, everything we've got, maximum push as we go into this, folks. Ramming speed. InfoWarsStore.com. But let's hear from Vladimir Putin here.
I cannot help asking those who have caused this situation, do you realize now what you've done?
Russian military exercise video. Speaking nearly a month ago, President Vladimir Putin at the International Economic Forum in St. Petersburg, Russia, warned the group of international journalists there repeatedly that Europe, the United States, and Russia were drifting towards full-scale war.
We know year by year what's going to happen, and they know we know. It's only you that they tell these fables and you buy it and spread it to the citizens of your countries. Your people do not feel a sense of the impending danger. This is what worries me. How do you not understand that the world is being pulled in an irreversible direction? That is the problem. But they pretend like nothing's going on. I don't even know how to get through to you people anymore.
And the big news is, a month later, almost a month later, after we first reported on it, in mid-June, there has been almost no Western coverage of it at all. And that's exactly what Putin was getting at. Whether you love Putin or hate Putin, if the leader of Russia, with thousands of intercontinental ballistic missiles and cruise missiles, is telling the West, I don't know how to get through to you, your media is controlled, you're being manipulated, NATO is putting missiles on our borders, we're having to move missiles in, you've overthrown Ukraine, you're on an offensive, you're funding and protecting radical Islam, do you know what you've done? Do you know what you've done, as he said at the UN, destabilizing the Middle East? Why are you doing this? Where are the sound minds across the political spectrum who should be stopping this? Russia has 3 overseas military bases. You have hundreds. You have your spies inside our country trying to overthrow it. You have your CIA people trying to get into our embassies. You are at war with us. And the average American, the average European, the average Brit is not aware of this.
Another threat that President Obama mentioned was ISIS. Well, who on earth armed them? Who helped to arm the Syrians that were fighting against Assad? Who created the necessary political climate that facilitated this situation? Who pushed for the delivery of arms to the area? Do you really not understand as to who is fighting in Syria?
But the issue of a major world leader saying that we're moving to the brink of war, and it's not in our news, that's the big story. It shows how incredibly controlled things are. Deutsche Bank, one of the biggest banks in the world, is plunging right now. Much bigger than Lehman Brothers. If it continues, it'll make 2008 look tame in comparison. Elites are building armored fortresses and redoubts all over the world, admitting they believe collapse is coming. Governments are digging in. Russia is digging in. Our supposed government is collapsing our borders and bringing people in with diseases and ignoring the Supreme Court rulings. It seems an age of madness or megalomania is now upon us. We've seen great evil out of Russia. We've seen great evil out of Germany. We've seen incredible evil out of communist China. But America has had its problems as well. And now we see Europe and the United States and the whole Anglo-American establishment filled with hubris and arrogance, just violating domestic laws, persecuting the press, leaking classified material and getting away with it. This is the stuff that collapses and major wars and calamities are made of. And most historians point out the parallels between the start of World War I and what we now see happening today, and the parallels with the start of World War II and the climate politically we see today. Even the Pentagon admits that we're probably witnessing one of the most unstable periods in human history right now. But Obama says we've got the best economy ever and the world's the most stable it's ever been. As they do everything they can to push us into crisis. And it's not just the Democrats. They have their establishment Republican cohorts that are working with them. All right. I have never been more concerned about what's happening. That's right. I've never been more concerned. I'll tell you. And if we're able to raise the alarm. That, the full video is up on Infowars.com. I want to go to more calls after the break with you, David. And I want to do some special reports over the weekend, obviously, because just, again, at a gut level, I can feel the whole escalation of the next level's already happened. What's your comment on the Russia situation, but also what the last caller was talking about?
Well, Alex, as you pointed out earlier in the program, we've seen how George Soros has engineered this in the Ukraine.
He's the one trying to overthrow Russia. I mean, God, They just want to get rid of him?
That's right. And so what we saw happening in the Ukraine, they created this unrest, the pattern that we're now seeing applied here in America. Isn't it interesting that we had Madison warn us that the tools of defense abroad or whatever will be used domestically? And, of course, the tools of insurrection and unrest abroad will be used domestically as well. We're seeing that now. So they broke off the Ukraine from Russia. Then when the Crimea said they would like to secede from the Ukraine, they said, oh, no, that's not justified. Secession by the Ukraine is justified. And as they mass these troops on the border, and in the past,